Okay.
じゃあ、言いますね。
Yeah, please do.
昨べ、高野さんと富武さんが死んだんだそうです。
Both?
ごめん、シオン。今、なんて言った？
昨べ、高野さんと富武さんが死んだんだそうです。高野さんは焼死体で、富武さんは自殺みたいな感じで。
Great.
今朝知ったんです。お父さんが親類の人からの電話で話してるのを聞いて。
So it was Takano's body that was found burnt. Well then. It happened again. Tomitake and Takano just pop into the story, into the chapter, telling us all this spooky stuff. And now they're gone, yet again. We won't be getting, like, any other new stuff from them until the next chapter now. Late last night, a police car on its way back from festival security duty had discovered Tomitake lying in the middle of the road, heading toward Tokinomiya. Huh. So, wait, is it the same scenario? He had clawed out his throat and died.
なんだよ。喉をかきむしっての自殺って。
Okay, same way of dying as last time.
あの明るそうな富武さんが自殺？何かの間違いだろ？
I know, right?
警察がちゃんと検視したんです。自分の爪でガリガリと喉をかきむしって血管を破いて血をドバドバ出して
Yeah, apparently so.
自分の血で溺れ死んだんだって。
そんなバカな自殺聞いた。自分の喉をかき破るなんておかしすぎる。
I realized I was yelling too loudly, so I lowered the voice I was putting into my voice. I didn't want my parents to hear me, so I switched to the cordless phone and ran up to my own room.
大声出してごめん。で、高野さんも自殺なのか？
高野さんは自殺かどうかちょっと。
Takano-san's body was found in the mountains of Gifu Prefecture. Employees at a rest stop nearby reported to police late at night that they could see flames in the mountains. Huh. In the mountains of Gifu Prefecture. An autopsy concluded that it was the burned corpse of a half-naked female. Half-naked? Well, because of the burnt, like flames, obviously. Because of the flames, obviously. They initially considered the body beyond recognition. But directly after, there was a request for a dental comparison from the XX Prefectural Police Station Okinomiya. And the results concluded that it was Mio Takano. The cause of death wasn't confirmed, but it was highly likely to have been a homicide, since she was in her undergarments, and her clothes were nowhere in the area.
灯油缶が転がってたそうなんで、焼身自殺の線もあるそうです。
自殺なわけあるものか。同じ死ぬならもっと楽な方法がいくらでもあるだろう。こんなの絶対に自殺なものか。
私だってそう思ってます。富武さんのだって自殺だなんて考えられない。
After the two of us rattled on at each other, there was a silence as we paused to catch our breaths. It is interesting. I mean, you know, I did talk about this during the investigation, about the cause of the curse and how anxiety and stress and all that plays out. And I was talking that, okay, it makes sense for Keiichi and Rena. They are a bunch of kids after all. They have their worries and their fears when it comes to this village. Tomitake is a little bit difficult to see the curse affecting him under that, but at the same time, it does feel like it did affect him nonetheless. I don't want to question what the police found. So what they found about Tomitake, it more than likely that's what happened, and I'm gonna trust them that he clawed himself. So I am assuming that okay, the curse is affecting him as well. Thus, he had his anxieties, his stress, and all that stuff. Like I am thinking that Tomitake is working undercover, and who knows? Maybe he's running from something. He had like a completely different dark past, and now the past is catching up to him, and the curse got to him because of all the anxiety built from all the running away from enemies or something like that. I don't know. Takano though, that's an interesting thought because I don't see Takano being affected by the curse, mostly because of the way she is. I mean, she seems like the type of person that doesn't really get scared of like the spooky stuff and all that. You don't see her as someone that would get worried like at all. Like it's either like I have to rethink the way that this curse is taking effect, which who knows, maybe it will happen in the future, but I'm not gonna do that right now. So I'm gonna say that Takano was not affected by the curse, but it could be that somebody went after her. Because I was saying that maybe Takano is a lot more. She is a lot more connected to the curse and the way it is made. Maybe she's working with the doctors and the conspiracy like enemies that we've been thinking of. But maybe she got too close to the sun and, well, she got burnt. Actually, you know what? I mean, I could totally see that the villagers are gonna be like, oh god, they found a secret. They went inside the storehouse. We gotta kill them. So now we are working with a completely different faction. We're adding a new faction to the entire thing. Not just those who are making like the curse, like the drug and all that, but those that are more than likely sympathizers or downright fanatics of Yashiro that are hiding in this mansion in this village and are a little bit more nutso. So they are gonna go after those who are against them. And well, Takano and Tomitake, they were punished. But the question is Shion and well, also Keiichi are gonna get punished like this? And as we calmed our nerves, right then I understood what Shion's story actually meant. Maybe it is the Sonozaki family.
お社様のたたりってことになると思います。私たちたたられるのに十分な資格がありますから。
Yeah, that's partially what I was thinking of.
資格って冗談じゃないぞ。別に俺は。
She wanted to see it with me. I just went along with her. I tried to say that, but I fell silent. Nothing would come of me blaming others. It didn't matter how much everyone else encouraged me. I could have put my foot down. I lost my own half-assed sense of adventure and agreed to go in with them. Yes, it was my fault, and no one else's. I'm gonna say that it is both parties' faults. Yes, you should have put your foot down, you should have known the limit of your curiosity and all that, but at the same time, they are the ones who are, like, putting all of this, like, chaotic, spooky stuff into your mind, and now they involved you in this, without fully explaining you why. I mean, I know why they don't explain it, it's for the sake of the mystery and all that, but still, that's pretty, you know, from an adult's perspective, it is really irresponsible to do stuff like that with a bunch of kids too, like putting the blame, like, making them be in danger as well because of this. They are a bunch of adults. If they wanted to do, like, this sort of dangerous stuff, because they were probably aware that this was dangerous stuff to go into the storehouse and all that. Just you, both of you, do it alone and do your thing. Don't put Keiichi and Shion into the spotlight as well. From an adult's perspective, that's something that they should have taken into account. Now, because they involved Keiichi and Shion, on the other hand, it could be because it is important, because they think that it is important to Keiichi and Shion as well. How important it is, we don't know.
シオン、お前は昨べ細工殿の中に忍び込んだらこうなるかもしれないと予想はついてたのか？
まさか。
That is a good question.
そりゃ多少はヤバいとは思いましたけど、こんなことになるなんて夢にも思いませんでした。
Are you absolutely sure? Like, does your family have like any strong feelings about that storehouse? What do you think? Shion's words were probably her true feelings. She knew she could get in trouble if we were caught, but that was the thrill of this little adventure. It was the same for me.
それよりもケイちゃん、ちょっとよく考えてください。今年のお社様のたたりはおかしくないですか？
Oyashiro's curse turned out a little strange. How so? It was already pretty strange. It was already plenty strange, seeing as how Tomitake-san and Takano-san died like that. Given all that, what could possibly be stranger? Well, there is the fact that two people died. Normally it would be one person dies and the other disappears. But no, Takano died this time too. That is the strange part. Now, that was what I was surprised about the most when I heard that they died. Both of them? Yeah, that's right. Huh. I mean, there is also the possibility that Takano died somewhere as well in chapter 1. But the idea is that her body was never found, that she disappeared. The fact that her body was found, it kind of throws a wrench into that.
死体が2つ見つかったってことです。
That's why I'm saying that this is a little bit outside of the curse, that Takano died not because of the curse, the infection or something, but there was a complication going on behind the scenes that we're not aware of.
言いましたよね。例年は1人が死んで1人が消えるんです。2人の死亡が確認されたのは今年が初めてです。
確かにそうかもしれないけど、そんなのは大した問題じゃないだろう。
いいえ、ケイちゃん、もっと真剣に考えてください。いいですか？2人の死がお社様のたたりということになってるなら、お社様の怒りを鎮めるための生贄もまた2人分必要なはずなんです。
そういう理屈になるのか？
Whoa. So, okay, we're going with a little bit of an increase over here. One person dies, another has to disappear. Two people die, therefore two people have to disappear, and so on. Is that how it works?
じゃあなんだよ。富武さんと高野さんが死んだ陰で、今年は2人が行方不明になってるってのか？
I don't understand why, but when I said that, I felt my spine freeze.
まだ誰も行方不明になってないと思います。多分2人が失踪するのはこれからじゃないかと思うんです。
Shion, like me, was obviously getting the same feeling crawling down her back.
これから2人が失踪する？
Shion didn't answer. I couldn't say any more than that either. A chill crept in through my clothes and tried to wrap into a fist around my heart. Cold hands feeling about on my chest. Neither of us could see anything. Tomitake-san opened the lock, and he died. Takano-san exploded the ritual storehouse, and she died. If two more people were to be sacrificed, then they would be none other than the ones who entered with them. None other than us.
まさか冗談だろ？
I wanted so much for her to pass this off as a joke, like even now. That, though, was such an incredibly difficult and selfish request. If Tomitake-san and Takano-san had died in a common way, like a car accident, I could tell myself it was coincidence. Instead, he clawed out his own throat, and she burned to death, drowned in oil, in the mountains. The two deaths were so out of the ordinary that I couldn't possibly dismiss it as mere coincidence. It was as if, in exchange for sneaking into the ritual storehouse, there must be someone punishing us. Some sort of cruel will working behind the scenes. Even so, I still didn't want to accept that terrifying truth. If I did, then I would have to acknowledge that a horrible crisis was growing near for Shion and I. That's why I argued against it. I argued, knowing I was running away.
大地、そんなの新聞に出てないぞ。そんなに奇怪な事件なら絶対に新聞やテレビで報道するはずだろう。
Yeah, I mean, that is a good point. Where did you learn this stuff from, Shion? That Tomitake and Takano died?
雑誌記者とかだって面白がって大勢来るに決まってる。
マスコミに報道されないのは当然なんです。過去にそうだったから。
When incidents occurred for the third year in a row, there were some further-rate magazines that sniffed out the story and ran issues full of gossip columns about Hinamizawa. Fearing that the region would develop a negative stigma, they negotiated with the prefecture and the police. Okay, that makes sense. Since last year, it became a big conspiracy, where no information about the incidents was allowed to be leaked to the media.
村長とか、あと園崎家出身の金バッジが警察に思いっきり圧力をかけたんだって聞いてます。
じゃあつまり二人の死は秘密裏に処理されてしまったということか。
Well, I guess to answer my question, I think that Shion learned from her family. If there are people who would know of every single little thing that would happen in this village, it would be the Sonozakis as well. I mean, I did say in the investigation video that, hey, the doctor would have some eagle view over the village as well. When it comes to the curse, or when it comes to the secrets and all that, well, there's the Sonozakis. Which, you know, begs the question. If the storehouse is that important to hide the secrets, how come there was nobody, guarding that place? I wonder.
そういうことです。もちろん、警察は捜査をしてますよ。でも、秘匿捜査ということなので、捜査活動にはかなりの制限が加えられているそうです。これは、事実上の捜査妨害と言えるでしょうね。
Well, I guess to answer that question, if you are to put guards, in front of the storehouse, that would create even more suspicion that there is something hiding behind it. The story was unbelievable. People died, and they don't publicize it and deal with everything in secret.
もっと噛み砕いて言うと、綿流しの夜に誰が死んでも公にはならないということです。
そんなバカな話があってたまるか。
ケイちゃん、私以前にお社様のたたりは村人が起こしてるかもしれないって言いましたよね。つまりそういうことなんです。このひなみ沢では毎年綿流しの夜にお社様のたたりということにして誰かを殺してもいい土壌がいつの間にか作り上げられているんです。
When someone dies on the night of Watagagashi, it turns into the curse of Oyashiro-sama. The curse turns into the serial murder instance. In order to avoid exacerbating the negative stigma surrounding Hinamizawa, those incidents are dealt with in secret.
バカな！毎年死者と行方不明者が出るんだろう。いくらマイナスイメージって言ったって警察にも限度があるだろ
う。毎年の事件が不可解って言うなら警察も本腰を入れられるんでしょうけど。何しろ毎年の事件は個別に解決してますので、
Kinda.
連続事件という形にならないんですよ。
But it does.
たまたま毎年綿流しの晩に不幸なことが起こる。
Weird, isn't it?
それだけのことに。
Most of the criminals responsible for the original dismemberment were arrested. The last one managed to get and stay away, but the events were totally exposed and elucidated, so it was, in essence, resolved. The damn supporting couple who died in an accident on the second year, that was an accident death, plain and simple. They made a lot of investigations with the possibility of it having been a homicide, but they didn't turn up anything. It ended up as an accident. It was resolved. On the third year, the priest fell ill and passed away. There were doctors present at the hospital at his deathbed, and they all had trustworthy medical certificates. They even did an autopsy, and concluded that it wasn't homicide. And that was resolved too. On the fourth year, the sister-in-law of the damn supporting couple was murdered. The criminal was an abnormal man with a history of regular psychostimulant usage. He confessed that he thought Oyashiro-sama's curse was so interesting he wanted to try it out. The criminal died of an accident while imprisoned, so this incident was essentially resolved as well. That's right. None of the incidents had any relation to another, and each was independently resolved.
なのになぜか毎年綿流しの晩に不幸な偶然が起こる。
That's the biggest question.
連続事件にしたくても連続にならないんです。それでも毎年必ず誰かが死んで誰かが消えていく。
In the story Takano-san told me on the day before during the setup. Now that the curse really had occurred this year, I couldn't just laugh it off.
じゃあ俺たちも狙われるっていうのか。毎年一人死ぬと一人が消えるように富武さんや高野さんの道連れに消えさせられるっていうのかよ。
My lips had, at some point, become completely dry, and just saying that was difficult. Shion didn't respond. Her silence, however, was the clearest form of confirmation she could give me.
俺たちそりゃ確かに入っちゃいけないところだったかもしれないが見ただけだぜ。何かを盗んだり持ち出したり見たことを誰かに喋ったわけじゃないんだぜ。
I was already regretting having committed such a wrong. I mean, the thing is, like, I'm questioning this, and about Sonazaki's have a pool on everything. They can hide things easily, as Shion told us about hiding, like, all this bad stuff from the media. How come they're not doing the same thing with Keiichi and Shion? They could just tell them, oh, well, all that stuff that you've seen, it was just in the past. Don't think much about it. He got that. But no, we're kind of left in the dark about this. Takano and Tomitake, they died mostly because they probably know a lot more, and the family had, like, no choice. Well, the family or whoever it is had no choice but to do this, or it's because of the infection and all that. But if somebody is trying to silence them, now with Keiichi and Shion, it is easy for them to just spook them off into not saying anything. Or not think much about it. Granted, that surely did not help Keiichi. Like, he tried his best to, deal with this and all that. Rena and the rest tried to hide that stuff from Keiichi, but he kept thinking about it more and more and dug up more and more. Even so, was it really so bad that Tomitake-san and Takano-san deserve such cruel deaths?
第一、俺はあんなの見ても全然面白くなかったし、高野さんが見て一人で大喜びしてただけだろ。悪いのは高野さんだけだよ。俺は全然関係ないぜ。興味もないし関係ないし、あの中にあったものだって知ったことじゃない。
I knew saying so wouldn't solve anything. I could feel myself, my cold self in the innermost depths of my heart, disgusted at my pointless howling. However, my emotions had broken through the dam. And I couldn't stop them anymore.
俺はもともと興味なんか全然なかったんだ。リカちゃんの演舞を見ていたかっただけなんだ。それをシオンが勝手に連れ出したんじゃないか。あの二人が泥棒しようが何しようが知ったことじゃない。そうだよ、そもそもシオンが中に入ろうって言い出したんだ。ケイちゃんは見ておく必要があるとかなんとか思わせぶりなことを言って中に引き込んだんだ。どうしてくれるんだよ。俺は全然関係ないんだぞ。どうすんだよ。どうすんだよ。どうやって責任を取ってくれるんだよ。おい、聞いてん。
Click. Without any warning, the phone cut off with the soft sound of the receiver being slammed down. Yeah, he explains it here in this line. Shion was just as terrified as I was. I just said some really self-centered things. Yeah, I mean, I can understand that you are feeling a little bit frustrated over here, but... You know, Shion will probably feel guilty that she pulled you into this because... Well, it is true. Shion did make you go inside. She did make you go, hey, let's go peek inside and all that. She would feel guilty about it. And the fact that Keiichi was downright yelling at Shion about this, that probably must hurt her like a lot, poor thing. My riled up emotions disappeared as if they'd never existed, and in their place surged waves of deep regret at having run my mouth so irresponsibly. I could try to call out Shion's name from beyond the disconnected phone, but it was too late. What have I done? Shion was only trying to tell me as much as she could about this thing about to descend upon us. As for me, I could only whine like a child about it. I wanted to call her back, but then remembered she lived in Okinomiya. I didn't know her phone number. Yeah, that's true. We're living during that era of phones and all that. Cordless phones and all that, we still don't have the technology to remember the phone numbers that we got. Since I had declared to Mion that I hadn't seen Shion last night, I couldn't just call Mion and ask her for Shion's phone number. I was too scared. I couldn't even call her back. I was stricken with hopeless regret. I returned the receiver to its stand, and I simply prayed that Shion would call me back. Please, Shion. Calm down. And call me again. Oh?
もしもし、前原です。
I swept up the receiver as though it wouldn't go through if I didn't grab it at that exact moment.
前原さんのお宅でしょうか。
Hello?
夜分遅くに失礼いたします。
Who is calling here?
君吉と申します。
Kimiyoshi. That name sounds familiar.
ご主人様でいらっしゃいますか？
It was the voice of a girl who clearly wasn't Shion. All my hopes rushed out of me.
いえ、違いますけど。
Kimiyoshi.
親父に用なら呼んできます。
I went to put the receiver back down, but the caller stopped me hurriedly. Yeah, it does sound like a little child.
あ、いえいえ、お忙しければ結構なんです。実は恐縮なんですが、うちのおじいちゃんがお邪魔してませんでしょうか。
Old man paying you a visit? Is this about Oishi?
いえ、誰も来てませんけど。
そうですか。夜分遅くに申し訳ありませんでした。
Actually, you know what? Maybe I'm a little on the money right over here, because Kimiyoshi, it does sound familiar to Oishi. Maybe they are related.
失礼いたします。
Clack. I don't know who that was, but what if Mion... I don't know who that was, but what if Shion tried to call while I was on the phone? I thought, bubbling with egotistic anger. Oh. That was surely an interesting call right over there. Oh, my curiosity is piquing even more. We have like another actor entering the stage right over here. Kimiyoshi. Hey, wait. Give it a break, Keiichi Maibara. These are the selfish emotions that made Shion mad at me, aren't they? Yeah, that's true. Like, God knows what Kimiyoshi is going through right now, and we don't even know her, like, at all. The more I thought about it, though, the more I thought that Shion had given up hope in the short time since we had our conversation, and didn't want to call anymore. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. If Shion does call again, then first apologize in a calm voice. Deep breaths. Deep breaths. If you do that, then why do I confuse it? Then Shion should understand. However, no matter how long I waited, the phone didn't ring again that night. In which case, I would say our next mission is to wait for the day, and when we have the chance, tomorrow we go to Shion. More scrap notes. And a late night phone call. Close calls. Alright, Takano, what do you have? Maybe we get some notes written by Takano like after? Although I'm doubting it, but given how much of a fanatic she is, like, she would probably write something in her notebook, like after visiting the storehouse and before dying. The significance of Watanagashi. Watanagashi, a festival of hunting for sacrifices and feasting on them. While the festival itself is remarkable, it has come to be considered a form of entertainment as well. And perhaps it was because of the disparity between being both an egregious act and a form of entertainment that the perpetrators began to believe themselves transcendent. However, I found some very interesting literature that appears to raise some questions about that explanation. As with most oral traditions, it's not easily swallowed, but it does mention a few things that spark my interest. According to this literature, even the residents of Onigafuchi village felt fear towards this ritual. Women and children would grow pale and tremble, and those of weak constitution would vomit. But it's said that the feast, the dissection, was an obligatory of viewing. This is an extremely curious tale. Yeah, I did say during the investigation video that, well, the Watanagashi festival is all smiles and sunshine and all that at first glance. Maybe the people of the village are still worried as fuck, like behind the scenes, like at the back of their minds. They're thinking, please don't have anyone killed this year, please don't have anyone killed this year, not my family, not my kids, please. And thus, the curse is gonna keep increasing more and more as time goes on, as the years go by because of this. Until now, I thought that the residents of Onigafuchi village were fascinated by the Watanagashi ritual. Reason why I was thinking, like, during the earlier parts of episode 1 that, well, not early part, but during chapter 1, I was thinking, for what reason is this happening? Is it that someone high up there is wanting Hinamizawa to go extinct over time? Because that would be a long-term plan that would take like decades for everyone in the village to die. Which, at this point, okay, I'm dropping that theory, like, out the window. It is kind of stupid. I don't think it's because they wanted the entire village to go extinct, but there is something else in my mind. They looked down on those vulgar barbaric humans, cut them open like fish, and by eating them, they reaffirmed their own holiness. At least, that's what I thought. However, if what the villagers gained from this ritual was not fascination, but fear, then that would suggest the ritual meant something entirely different. There's the possibility that executions were meant as warnings, encouraging the villagers to strictly follow religious precepts created by those with power for their own convenience. I mean, I guess. You know, we did talk about this when we were inside the storehouse, that, like, what the fuck? What is the point of all these implements when you could just kill off the sacrifices with just a knife to the neck, or, you know, the guillotine or something like that? Something easy. No, the fact that there were those implements there in the first place meant that there is more than just simple death. There is torture, and they said that maybe it was meant for entertainment. But I guess there's also for the purpose of tradition as well. Well, at first, like, God knows how long, like hundreds of years ago, they did it for entertainment. But now, if there are people who are still trying to follow the tradition, they have to follow it to a T, or otherwise Oyashiro is not gonna be happy with this sacrifice. It doesn't matter. You have to do these torturous stuff too. Yeah, there's also that aspect, the fear aspect, that if those who follow the tradition are not gonna do it properly, the sacrifice is gonna be in vain there. So, who knows? Maybe they do it out of entertainment. Maybe they just want to tickle their funny bones. But maybe they also are doing it out of fear. Onagafuchi village has been effectively ruled over by 3 old families, called the 3 families. Ooh! Alright, let's see. 3 families. Without investigating the 3 families, I probably won't get any closer to the truth of Onagafuchi village. You know what, let me guess. Like, one of them is Sonozaki, that's for sure. Like, I'm imagining it. Furude would be another one. I still believe that, hey, you have this Furude shrine and the Furude family. Like, religion and the priests and all that, they are important to a village. The Furude family surely would have to be important as well. I wonder about the 3rd family, though. Like, I bet it would have to be the Hojo. Maybe they are important as well. I mean, why not? Like, kind of have, like, these, this group of kids, like, the 4 girls and the Keiichi, be tied to one another. Not out of well, kind of out of coincidence, but they all have something important that they will have to offer to the story. Again, kind of like Muv-Luv, more specifically Muv-Luv alternative. Like, all the characters in our group are important in some way, politically speaking. Which, you know, speaking of Muv-Luv, it is interesting because the voice actor for Keiichi right over here is the same voice actor for the main protagonist of Muv-Luv as well. I mean, yeah. Like, Higurashi and Muv-Luv, they have come from, like, the same period, like in the early 2000s. The 3 families. Ooh. It refers to the 3 old families who effectively came to rule Onagafuchi village. To break it down, there was the Kimiyoshi family. Well then. Wait, hold on a second. The Furude family. Ah, I was right. And the Sonozaki family. And each of them still exists today. What was Oishi's full name? Kurao Oishi, was it? Yeah, I think it was Kurao Oishi. Alright, well, if it's the Kimiyoshi family, then that means that it probably has nothing to do with Oishi. But still, a member of... Well, like, I feel like I'm going under the wrong impression that Kimiyoshi put, like, the wrong number and called Keiichi, when instead, Kimiyoshi, the girl, probably wanted to call the Sonozakis, maybe? Why would they call the wrong number? How did they call the wrong number? There must be a reason for that. Or maybe it was just a way to introduce Kimiyoshi, I guess. I don't know. Though they don't have as much control as they did in the remote past, they still hold considerable influence today. The three families are considered by legend to be those in whom the blood of the swamp demons run the thickest. The Kimiyoshi family. The Kimiyoshi family appears to have held great power as the head of the three families. The head of the three families, but it doesn't have that kind of leadership today. The current mayor of the village, Kiichiro Kimiyoshi, is from this family. The fact that members of the Kimiyoshi family are elected as mayor every generation is thought to be a remnant of the old system. Of course, as no rival candidates appear, it doesn't change the fact that the Kimiyoshi family holds the mayoral office even through popular elections in a post-war era. The Furude family. The center of the village's face since ancient times, the Furude clan has guarded a soul shrine dedicated to Oyashiro-sama. They were worshipped as the only people to represent the voice of Oyashiro-sama for a long time. But the family branched off after the war and lost most of its power. It now consists of only the main house. The main house, as well, presently consists of only one daughter, Rika Furude, so the lineage may end in this generation. I mean, it says it consists of only one daughter, so I guess she really doesn't really have like anyone else. Her father, the priest, and her mother died. I guess she has no aunts or cousins or anything like that. She is alone. There's apparently an old tradition of honoring females of the Furude family. So the only daughter, Rika, is the subject of much respect among the elderly of the village. The Sonozaki. It's said that this family had a certain police-like role of protecting the religious precepts of Onigafuchi village. Police-like role. Of the three families, their relatively weak position can be seen from me putting them here last. Man. And we've heard that the Sonozakis have quite a pull, and yet Takano considers them the least influential. Now we have Furude and Kimiyoshi a little bit like on top here. Of course, today the Sonozaki family is flourishing, and the state of affairs among the three families has completely reversed. Well, I guess it makes sense, of course, because well, the Sonozaki still have their system. They still have their big family. Rika, however, and her family, they are about to go extinct if not careful. So, yeah, there is a little bit of a reversal in power. In the past, however, it probably was a little bit different. Like, I can imagine that the Sonozakis were like the protecting clan of the Furude. They're like the honor guard of the Furude. Even now, one could say that they are in control of Hinamizawa. The three families conferring with each other is similar to the old way. The current head of the Sonozaki family, Oryo. Oryo? Essentially decides all of the going-ons in the village by herself. So it's probably like the mother of Shion and Neon, more than likely. Okay. Okay. Pretty interesting. Like, so far, chapter 2 of Higurashi surely has been the history chapter of Hinamizawa. I mean, we had a little bit of that in the first chapter, but at the same time, the curse has started taking effect like a lot earlier in chapter 1. Here, not as much yet.
夜分遅くに失礼いたします。君吉と申しますが、ご主人でいらっしゃいますか。
Oh?
はい。いえいえ、その説は本当にありがとうございます。ええ、それでですね、こんな時間に大変恐縮なのですが、うちのおじいちゃんがお邪魔してないかと思いまして。
Okay, this is interesting. Like, a completely different person is calling someone else's family and asking about an old man? Oh. Okay, so I guess this means that someone disappeared. They are searching for this old man that may have gone to some place. I don't know.
ですよね。はい。こんな時間に申し訳ありませんでした。それでは失礼いたします。ごめんください。
どうだい？ダメ？
参ったな。どんなに熱中しても電話くらいはしてくれる人なんだけれどな。
囲碁の人の家は全部電話したんでしょ？
Bring.
はい、君吉です。
園崎です。どうです？村長さんは見つかりましたか？
The mayor is missing? Uh-oh.
ああ、ミオンちゃんか。片っ端から電話をかけてみたけどダメだよ。見つからないんだ。参ったな。
Yeah, no wonder the Kimiyoshi family specifically would be worried about this. That the mayor is missing.
どこで油を売ってるのかな。
こっちでも心当たりにいろいろと問い合わせましたけど、全然。ばっちゃんにも相談したんですが、青年団を招集して探し回った方がいいだろうということです。
こんな時間にかい。それに別に行方不明になったと決まったわけでもないし。
綿流しの直後ですから、少し慎重に扱った方がいいとのことです。それでも見つからないなら、明朝警察に通報しましょう。見つかる見つからないは別にして、痛くない腹を探られない方がいいでしょうから。
おりょうさんがそう言ったのかい。
はい。直接声を聞かないと信用できないなら、電話先に出させますよ。
いえ、わかりました。青年団を集めて探しましょう。それで見つからなければ翌朝に警察に通報します。
青年団の連絡もよろしくお願いしますね。私もバッチャの代行ということでそちらに参ります。
ありがとう。すぐにみんなを集めます。
ええ。では。
I guess this could put some things into context a little bit before. Like, remember when Mion was asking Keiichi about possibly seeing Takano and Tomitake like last night. Like, where did it go, Keiichi? Did you do something last night, Keiichi? It could also have something to do with the mayor disappearing, and Mion probably thinks that it has something to do with what Keiichi may have done. And same thing goes with Oishi. They are probably searching for the mayor, and we didn't even realize it. There was no way I'd be able to sleep. When she hung up the phone like that, I realized that for the first time what kind of situation I was in, as well as who the only ally who would support me was. The question is though, if that were the case and Neon and Oishi would know, like already, how come Shion hasn't told us like one bit about this? It's as if she hasn't learned about this either, even though she probably should. Well, Maybe it's because Shion lives in a completely different area from her family. Mion and her family, they live in one place, and they would know. Shion, she probably lives all by herself, thus she wouldn't know about this until much later. So I guess there's also that kind of way of putting things. Either way, I waited with bated breath for Shion to calm down and call me back. What would I do if the phone rang while I was sound asleep? No matter how long I waited, however, he never rang. Exhausted, whenever my mind started to wander, I would jolt awake as though I heard the phone ring. In the end, I brought the cordless phone with me into my futon and went to sleep with it in my arms. No, it still didn't amount to anything. Morning came, and by that time, I was pretty sure she wasn't calling back. That was when a fierce drowsiness assailed me.
くそ、寝ぼけてる場合じゃないぞ、前原圭一。
I slapped myself in the face a few times. Then I went to the washroom and washed my face, which was something I usually didn't do. That wasn't enough either, so I even brushed my teeth. You brushed your teeth in the morning? After that, I was finally wide awake. Feels like something that he normally wouldn't do. When Mom saw how strange I was acting, her eyes went wide.
どうしたの、圭一？今日はどこかにお出かけでもするの？
うん、学校に。
圭一くん、なんだか今日も調子悪そう。
I guess it becomes the norm in this village, starting from now.
やっぱり風邪かな。
風邪じゃなくて寝不足なんだ。寝ぼけてわけのわかんないことを言い出したらフォローよろしくな。
圭一くん、寝ぼけたらどんなこと喋り出すのかな。
かな。
ちょっと楽しみかも。
I felt utterly shattered, and I still hadn't picked myself back up this morning. And for precisely that reason, Rena's honest smile was a sight for sore eyes.
よ。ケイちゃんにレナ。おはよう。あれれ、みーちゃんもなんだか寝不足な感じだよ。
Mion had come home early yesterday with a hangover, but she didn't look too good this morning either. Her usual cheerfulness was completely buried in shadow.
うん。寝たの3時ぐらいだからね。眠い。
3時？昨日に続いてか？おいおい、夜更かしにも限度ってもんがあるぞ。大方漫画の単行本が面白くなっちゃって一巻から読破してしまったんだろ。
Sure thing, sure.
うんうん、俺にも経験があるぞ。
I joked, trying to shake off my sleepiness. I was trying to be considerate. However, neither Mion nor Rena smiled. In fact, they didn't even pay attention. Rena's expression immediately darkened.
あれ？ひょっとして村長さんのこと？まだ見つかってないの？うん。
おい、ちょっと待ってくれ。村長さんが見つかってないって何の話だ？
Even the classroom, which was normally bursting with bright, joking voices, seemed filled with a different sort of murmur today.
おはようございます、ケイチさん。
Hello, Satoko.
聞きました？なんだか大変なことになりましたわね。
俺はその村長さんって人をよく知らないんだが、ジジイなんだろ？ボケて徘徊してるだけじゃないのか？
村長さんはボケてなんかいませんですわ。お習字も教えるし、剣道も教える、はつらつな方でございますの。僕と同じで、きっとどこかで迷子なのですよ。迷子いいね。
Yeah, I know, right? We got lost to Satoko like a couple of days ago. Now to imagine like a lost Rika. Woo!
お持ち帰り
How? Omochikaeri? Getting lost is only cute because children like Rika-chan do it. We're not old men getting lost isn't more in the slightest. Alright, while I mind entertain dumb thoughts like that, our teacher arrived. Everyone rushed to their seats.
皆さん、おはようございます。
Ohayo, teacher. Good morning. The class greeting was normal, but the atmosphere in the room was heavy.
すでに聞いている方もいるかもしれませんが、昨日の夜、村長さんが夜遅くになってもお家に帰ってこなかったのだそうです。皆さんの中で昨日村長さんを見た人はいますか？
One or two hands went up in silence, and they told her about having seen him. Okay, so back to the investigation video that I did. I did mention the possibility that, okay, the reason why some people are gonna disappear is because this secret organization is doing like experiments and trying to figure out a cure for the infection. So they take some people who may have had some infection in them and try to figure out a cure for them. They just take one person or two, I guess, depends on how many people they're gonna get, I guess. This time around, we may get two people disappearing, but before it was one. So they take one person and they try to figure out a curse. They may possibly die during the process, but the point is they disappear because they're trying to find a cure for the infection. The idea that they would kidnap the mayor of Hinamizawa, that's a little bit much. Like, I go under the idea that they could just pick, like, whoever they want, as long as they see them as infected, or something like that. What, did they have no choice? Did they see the mayor as the only one who was infected? Thus, they had no choice but to take him? I mean, you know, you try your best to get that cure, but in the process, that could stir some huge conflicts in the village between the families. Like, God knows what would happen right now. War is gonna happen. Like, everybody's gonna fight each other. Like, the three families, well, technically two families and all that. Like, the two families are gonna start fighting each other because of this. Like, this is interesting. Because the people that have disappeared last years, they have never been found. Meaning that either they are still doing research on them, they just keep them in a secret laboratory for years to experiment on them, or they died. Can you really do that with the mayor of Hinamizawa? Just keep him cooked up in one place for years while the village is going insane, going confused about being confused about this? Huh. I don't know about that one. That kind of I would say that throws a little bit of a wrench in my theory, but I guess we shall see. None of it seemed to be vital information, however, and everyone began whispering amongst themselves.
もしも村長さんを見かけた人は大人の人に教えてあげてくださいね。
Hi.
それでは授業を始めます。
After that same old lessons began. The rumors, once quieted, blossomed in flowers again at lunchtime. I could hear a few different conversations. They were mostly related to the mayor's disappearance. Summing them all up, I came out with this. Yesterday evening, the mayor went to a meeting at the shrine's assembly hall. The meeting ended after the sun had fully set, and everyone left. The elder's house was a bit far from the center of Hinamizawa. It was already late, and Hinamizawa doesn't have a lot of lights outside. Nobody saw the mayor after the meeting. Imagine if the Higurashis just downright ate the mayor. However, because he would have been hungry, he wouldn't have taken any side trips. He would have gone straight home. However, no matter how long his family waited, he never returned. Some thought there might have been an accident. They left no stone unturned. They searched from the irrigation channels to the water wells, and even in the rice paddies, but they didn't find him. Of course, there was a limit to how far they could search in the middle of the night. The police were going to wait for daylight, then have the young men of the town help search. If after all that they still didn't find him, they were apparently even going to go looking in the mountains. Even now at this moment, the adults were probably all searching for him. The only thing that came to mind was the curse. The rumors of Onikakushi, of the demoning away. Had he become this year's sacrifice to Yashiro-sama's curse, which had recently been occurring every year? And that scary possibility, which everybody thought about but nobody could say aloud, was slowly but surely spreading throughout the village. Was he demoned away and offered as a sacrifice to quell Yashiro-sama's anger? My classmates were whispering to each other that the curse didn't happen this year, so there shouldn't have been any sacrifices. I, on the other hand, I knew. The curse did happen again this year, and there were 2 people that died. This may sound strange, but I hadn't exactly thought the elder would be the one to go missing. My reason was clear. Shion and I should have been a higher priority than him. The 4 of us were thieves that broke the taboo and set foot into the sacred ritual storehouse. Itomitake-san and Takano-san had suffered mysterious deaths, and it should have been my and Shion's turn next. Well, at the very least, it takes the steam off of you. They were thinking of you, but now that the mayor is gone, they are gonna focus on that.
今度こそ俺かシオンの番なのにな。
I laughed painfully to myself. I'd yelled at Shion over the phone that I didn't want to end up in such a terrifying situation, but now that someone other than me had disappeared, I could only think that I should have been the first to go. Onikafuchi, the bottomless swamp, said to have been the place where they drowned sacrifices long ago. Just as it ran through my thoughts, the villagers must have also considered the swamp. Maybe police divers were plumbing its depths even now. They probably wouldn't find anyone. Not a single missing person had ever been found. They'd always suspected Onikafuchi, but not once have they ever turned up a corpse from it. After all, it was a devilish bottomless swamp from which no one who sings can ever return. I could hear someone telling their friend that in the classroom.
そういえば、サトシさんがいなくなったのも去年の今頃だったね。
Uh-oh. Huh? Satoshi? I've heard that name before. Here we go again, with Satoshi as well. We gotta catch up with that one, too. It was... Right, he disappeared because of last year's curse. The conversation was happening on the seat next to me, so I could hear it clearly.
サトシさんの時も確かこんな風に村中で探したんじゃなかったっけ？
あれも見つからなかったんだよね。あれって結局どうなったんだっけ？確か鬼隠しじゃなかったんだよね。
うん。貯金を全部下ろして家出しちゃったんだって聞いたよ。警察の人が名古屋駅で新幹線に乗るところを見た人がいるとか言ってたもん。
Ran away, huh? I wasn't that interested in the reason, which seemed understandable in this case. Everyone else who disappeared had their own reasons too. Either they were still on the run because they were criminals, or they were a corpse that couldn't be found. So they did a search party for Satoshi as well. And this actually brings up an interesting point right over here. They are doing a search party for the mayor. They apparently did a search party for Satoshi as well last year. But they never did one for Takano in the first chapter. It's not like any of them suddenly disappeared into thin air for no reason. But they disappeared. Someone disappeared whenever the curse took a life, as if by design. Unless maybe they did do a search party in the first chapter. It's just that Keiichi never heard of it. He was busy with his own spooky stuff going on. Who knows? They may have had various understandable reasons, but they still disappeared. But I guess from a storytelling perspective, they should have said something about a search party for Takano in the first chapter. But the fact that they didn't, maybe there is a clue there for that reason. From that point of view, it really might have been a demoning away this time. And the mayor's disappearance was the first such incident without a clear reason behind it. Of course, coming to that realization didn't help to resolve anything.
今日は味の加減を間違えちゃったみたいだね。ごめん。
Normally, Rena's lunch would have been devoured immediately. But today there was still a ton left. That wasn't because Rena's lunch didn't taste good or anything though.
そんなことありませんのよ。レナさんのお弁当は今日もとっても美味でしたよ。
Satoko dips her chopsticks into Rena's bento box and pulls bits of food out of one after the other. Yeah. Just let me hear those Satoko noises going hum, hum, hum. That's cute as fuck.
おいしいおいしい。今日も格別でしたよ。
Ah, there you go.
あれ、それかぼちゃのコロッケだよ。大丈夫？レナさんのかぼちゃならとっても美味しいですわ。
Does Satoko dislike pumpkin? Regardless, she forced herself to smile and shoved more into her mouth. These girls are so cute! How? Omochikairi? Everyone knew. Nobody's lunch tasted very good today. Satoko kept shoveling it down, repeating her remark on how good it was.
そんなにうまいなら俺もいただかないとな。このままじゃ全部サトコに食われちまう。あんまり
にも美味しいので、ぜひケイチさんにも召し上がってほしいですわね。
You certainly would like that, would you?
たまには俺も年上らしい寛大さを見せないとな。よし、遠慮するな。今日は俺の分まで食ってよし。
She really hated pumpkin, didn't she? That made it all the more touching to see Satoko's own brand of generosity. I grabbed her head and started stroking it. Such a good girl! You're such a good girl. Satoko, in a somewhat exaggerated fashion, was bawling, tears streaming down her face.
嘘だよ。そんなにうまいものを譲るほど大人にはなれないよ。レナも食え。俺のは夕べのおでんの残り物だが、おでんは一晩経ってからがうまいんだぜ。
お大根が綺麗な色に透き通ってて美味しそう。じゃあいただこうかな。
Rena reached out with her chopsticks, and at last, the usual lunchtime atmosphere began to return. That was only at our desks, however. The dark tales of Yashiro-sama's curse which are recurred for 5 years in a row and then cease. The whole classroom remains stuck in this somber mood. Oyashiro-sama's curse had happened for 5 years straight. Everyone had wanted their previous year to be the last. What was Oyashiro-sama's curse anyway? They were going to build a dam in Hinamizawa, and the people building it were bad. So they were cursed. I would admit that much. Still, the dam project was frozen years ago, wasn't it? So why was the curse stubbornly persisting? Interesting question. I hit myself on the cheeks to perk myself back up. Everyone was trying so hard to brighten the mood. I couldn't go straight back to thinking about the curse like that. I forced the grim story out of my head. Driving Oyashiro-sama... Did you say driving? Driving Oyashiro-sama's curse out of my thoughts was actually a good idea. An image of Oyashiro like driving that white van in the first chapter just popped into my head. Apparently he got that license. In the end, that meant I would also be driving. Stop saying the word driving, goddammit. Driving away the most terrifying thought of all. That I could be the curse's next target.
しかしミオンは遅いな。あいつのお手洗いってこんなに長いのか？
Mion had said she was going to wash her hands and left. And she hadn't come back yet.
多分どっかでお昼寝してるんだと思う。昨べはきっと遅くまで村長さんを探すお手伝いをしてたんだと思うから。
I smiled wryly and let out a sigh. Today was no good. However much we tried to lighten the mood, things always came back to the mayor. It was just a no good day. I had just transferred here recently, so the shock of a curse happening 5 years running was an unimaginably bleak one. Maybe I do need to appreciate that.
村長さんはね、ちっちゃかった頃、みーちゃんのことをすごく可愛がってくれたんだって。
Oh, don't tell me that the mayor and Mion had a history too.
いたずら盛りのみーちゃんをすごく可愛がってくれたって、よく話してたな。
Going back to what I said before, that maybe Mion asked Keiichi yesterday about last night during Watanagashi was because the mayor disappeared, and Mion really wanted to find that out. There is that emotional component as well, that, hey, the mayor disappeared. I have to figure this out. If Keiichi and Shiona are hiding something, I'm gonna be really mad. Or something like that. I see. Mian was in shock too. Someone disappearing at all because of a curse was a very scary thing. If the sacrifice was someone you knew though, then the shock must be 100 times worse. Satoko, as if she come to the same conclusion, bit her lower lip and looked downward.
そういえばリカちゃんも遅いな。ひょっとしてリカちゃんも仲良くお昼寝か？
Again, it makes me think back to how we learned that Rika is the only one left of the Furude family. Could it be that Rika also went with the search party? More than likely. I mean, this is something that probably involves like all the family. Furude included.
リカはそんなに遅くまではお付き合いしませんでしたわ。リカがあくびをしたら皆さんみんなしておやすみなさいませ、おやすみなさいませって。
Now that you mention it, there were a lot of old people rubbing their prayer beads in fervent gratitude towards Rika-chan during the festival too. An image of the indulgent elderly came to mind. Had Rika-chan discovered a way to get herself to be pampered like that? Well, you know, maybe she does have the skill as well, but at the same time, you know, the idea of of the Furude family going extinct and Rika-chan being the only one left, it does add an extra layer to people being really nice with Rika. In the sense that, well, they don't want the Furude family to die. Rika-chan is the only one left, and the Furude family, they've surely done a lot for the village, historically speaking, more than likely. So, for them to see the only survivor of the Furude family still living, that surely makes people be like extra careful with Rika. Especially with the curse as well. Like, they do not want Rika-chan to be affected by this curse either, to just either be demoned away or die and all that, so they really have to be careful about this.
リカちゃんって何気に年寄りのアイドルだな。理想の孫娘像ってやつなのか？
An idol? Oh god.
そんなの知らない。でもリカちゃんのあくびなら見てみたい。きっとね、ふわーって。
お待ち帰り。
そんなに可愛いとも思いませんけど、ふわーって喉の奥まで覗けるくらいの大あくびでしたよ。
You know that damn well.
リカちゃんの大あくび。
Rika Arena Sandy at times like these. I finally managed a heartfelt laugh. Alright. I'm on day duty today, aren't I? Ah, damn it. That stupid old duty. Okay, I guess it's time for us to clean the board. And go water the flower again. And the flowers too. The garden is right outside the teacher's lounge too, so they can immediately tell if you don't do it right.